Do you know what happens when everyone tries to win the EV race by slashing prices? China's producer price index dropped 3.6% in June 2025, the steepest fall in nearly 2 years, raising alarms of deflation. BYD cut prices by 32%, but only 15% of automakers are using factories efficiently. Can that model survive? With 120 EV brands fighting for space, are we headed for mass consolidation or collapse? Meanwhile, China now makes 70% of the world's EVs, but rising tariffs threaten that lead. Will global expansion save the day, or will cutthroat tactics backfire? Do not forget to subscribe now to explore how China's EV giants must shift from speed to smart, and why rational competition may be their only way forward. Can competition ever go too far? On Thursday, July 18th, Che Jun, a senior Chinese official, told automakers they must embrace rational competition in the electric vehicle industry. His comments were shared publicly by the industry ministry just a day later. That's a clear signal that something's changing in how the government sees the EV race. Why now? Because after 2 years of aggressive price wars, China's State Council, led by Premier Li Qiang, has stepped in. On Wednesday, they pledged to regulate irrational competition, introducing stronger price monitoring and cost investigations. What's happening in the world's largest auto market that makes these steps necessary? The following day, 17 major automakers, including BYD and BAIC Group, met with authorities to explore solutions. They were joined by local officials and top regulators. That's no small gathering. It shows urgency. Can companies still innovate while playing fair? Che Jun's comments mark a turning point. As EVs reshape mobility, the rules of the game are shifting fast in China. Is China putting all its eggs in one basket? In a rare move, Chinese President Xi Jinping publicly questioned the country's single-minded focus on certain high-tech industries. During a Beijing urban development meeting, he asked, "Do all provinces in the country have to develop industries in these areas?" Referring to electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, and computing power. Why does this matter? Xi's words reflect concerns that China's high-tech strategy is becoming repetitive and risky. He's not turning away from innovation, but he's saying it must be smart and diversified. Xi's unusually blunt tone shows the government is taking a hard look at involution, where competition escalates but outcomes don't improve. Have you seen how many new EVs are hitting the roads lately? The result is overcapacity, unsold stock, and companies fighting for survival through unsustainable pricing. China's leadership now wants to curb hyper-competition and push for higher quality instead of just more quantity. Could this shift in tone reshape industrial priorities? When every automaker tries to win by lowering prices, then you get a price war, and the consequences are catching up. In June 2025, China's producer price index dropped by 3.6%, the steepest in nearly 2 years. That's a red flag for the entire economy. Lower prices might seem good for buyers, but they hurt profits, stall investments, and risk economic deflation. The ongoing EV battle has pushed brands like BYD to cut prices by 32%, while Tesla has inched prices up by just 3.8% over 2 years. At what point does affordability become a trap? Lower prices are also making Chinese EVs cheaper on global markets, increasing trade tensions. In the first half of 2025, China's GDP grew 5.3%, but much of it came from export front-loading before new U.S. tariffs kicked in. Despite that growth, consumer confidence and youth employment remain weak. Economists say deflation has finally caught Beijing's attention. Is price cutting still a smart way to compete? China must now walk a fine line between competitiveness and economic sustainability. Did you know China's EV journey began over 2 decades ago? Back in 2001, the government launched the 863 EV project to support pure EVs, hybrids, and fuel cell vehicles. By 2004, 16 state-owned companies formed SEVA, aiming to share standards and knowledge. The country committed a whopping $14.7 billion by 2012 to lead the EV race. From 2007 to 2009, investment exceeded 30 billion renminbi, alongside a plan to subsidize EV buyers in key cities. These steps sparked early success. Chinese new energy vehicle sales surged by 107.9% in the first half of 2008. By 2015, the market exploded, with plug-in EV sales jumping 343% year over year. If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button and join the journey. Fast forward to 2018, China made and sold 1.2 million plug-in EVs, more than triple US sales. In 2024, Chinese output hit 12.4 million EVs, dominating 70% of global production. Early policies built the foundation, but now with challenges like overcapacity and price wars, can the same top-down approach drive quality growth, or is a new model needed? Can the EV market support nearly 120 brands competing in one country? In 2025, Chinese automakers are in a crowded arena. Only 15% had factory utilization above 70%, the minimum for profitability. Yet, BYD alone commands 27% of China's retail EV market, while the rest scramble for scraps of the remaining 37%. Why are weak players still in business? The answer is state support. While it helps with stability, it also delays inevitable consolidation. Analysts say a dozen survivors may remain long-term. Foreign joint ventures are struggling too. SAIC, GM, and GAC Honda have seen sharp declines. And although BYD could raise prices, analysts say it's choosing a disciplined pricing strategy to expand sustainably. Tesla, meanwhile, leads global factory utilization at 96%, proving that focus matters. So here's a real challenge. How does China balance open competition with industry health, and which players will be left standing when the dust settles? The current landscape is overcrowded and many are operating at a loss. Smart consolidation isn't just a choice, it's a necessity. Did you know that in 2024, China exported 1.25 million EVs, making up 40% of global EV exports? While that sounds like success, it's also creating friction. Rising tariffs from the US, Canada, and the EU have triggered a new phase in China's EV journey: global expansion through local factories. Take BYD, for example. It's building plants in Brazil and Turkey. Volvo, owned by Geely, assembled over 160,000 EVs in Europe last year. Why? Because shipping isn't enough anymore. Tariff walls are rising fast. Did you notice how Chinese EV exports to the EU dropped from 70% in 2021 to 40% in 2024? That's due to trade restrictions. Yet, exports to places like Southeast Asia, Mexico, and Russia are climbing fast. Chinese automakers are adapting, but the world is pushing back. With global EV exports up 20% and BYD launching the largest Ro-Ro ship ever, China's global footprint is expanding. But so are the challenges. What does the future of China's EV market look like? The answer lies in moving from hypergrowth to smart growth. In 2024, model availability grew 15% to 785 models, but 60% of them were electric. China leads in small EV electrification, with 90% of small car sales being electric. Did you know BYD's Seagull sold 440,000 units, making it the top-selling small EV, second only to Tesla's Model Y at 485,000 units? But success isn't just about sales anymore. Now, market share, model diversity, and efficiency matter more than ever. Tesla leads BEV sales at 17.5%, but BYD is right behind with 16.2%. BYD leads globally in total EV sales, with a 23.4% market share across all electrified types. That's a big jump from 21.9% last year. Meanwhile, Geely Volvo rose to 7.9%, outpacing VW Group and SAIC. So here's the real question. Can Chinese automakers shift from a mindset of more to better? And as tariffs rise and margins shrink, will quality, innovation, and global adaptability define the next generation of EV leaders? Rational competition isn't just a policy, it's the future. China's EV boom has hit a turning point. After years of breakneck growth, price wars, and overcapacity, the road ahead demands smarter, leaner strategies. Rational competition is no longer optional, it's survival. Global expansion offers hope, but only quality, innovation, and disciplined execution will separate winners from casualties. As the government tightens the reins, the industry must evolve or fade. The EV race isn't just about speed anymore, it's about wisdom. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay ahead of the EV transformation.